Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that, well, it could genuinely change how you see your entire life. It's all about the art of re-authoring your own story through a really cool process called narrative therapy. So let's just jump right in. I want you to take a second and really think about this. What's the story that you tell yourself about yourself every single day? Is it a story of success, a story of struggle? Are you the anxious one, or maybe the person who always seems to mess up? These stories feel so real, don't they? Like they're just facts. But what if they're not? And that's really the heart of what we're getting into. See, as humans, we make sense of our lives through narratives. And these aren't just, a bunch of memories strung together. No, they are powerful scripts that actually guide our actions, they shape our identity, and they can even influence our future. But here's the most exciting part. We have way more control over these scripts than we think. This whole approach is called narrative therapy. It came about back in the 1980s from these two thinkers, Michael White and David Epstein. And its core philosophy is incredibly respectful and non-blaming. It's all built on this one simple but totally profound belief. You are the expert in your own life. And crucially, you are not the problem. The problem is the problem. Okay, so let's look at the foundation for this. It's actually pretty fascinating. First, our stories don't just pop out of thin air. They're shaped by our culture, our community, our context. Makes sense, right? Second, the actual words we use matter a lot. And third, and this one is absolutely huge, is the idea that you already have the skills and the values you need to challenge your problems. This isn't about finding something you're lacking. It's about uncovering the strengths that are already there. So, if we have this power, why do we get so stuck sometimes? Well, think of it this way. Sometimes the problem grabs the pen right out of your hand. It starts writing the story for you. And when that happens, we get trapped in what's known as a problem-saturated story. And what that means is one single narrative, and yeah, it's usually a negative one, it just becomes so dominant that it eclipses everything else. It becomes the only story you can see, the only identity you feel you have. It's like trying to see your entire life, but you're stuck looking through one tiny, cloudy lens. This, right here, is the perfect example of that trap. Just listen to the language. I am a depressed person. It's not, I am a person who is dealing with depression. No, it's I am depressed. The problem isn't something the person has, it's become who the person is. Their identity and the problem have completely emerged into one. And that right there brings us to the most revolutionary, most powerful idea in narrative therapy. It's a simple sentence, but it changes the entire game. Just pause and let this one sink in. Read it again. The person is not the problem. This is the whole thing. The crucial point is that your identity and your problems are two separate things. And just grasping that single idea, well, that's the key that unlocks the door to change. And this shows you exactly how that separation works in practice. It's a technique called externalization. So instead of saying, I am anxious, you might start exploring, when does anxiety tend to visit? Or what does anxiety try to convince me of? You feel that difference? It's huge. Suddenly, you're not the problem. You're a person who's dealing with a problem. It creates just enough space to start fighting back. Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do this? Let's open up the toolkit that narrative therapy provides for taking back the pen and starting to write that new story. As you can see, there are several really powerful techniques here. They range from externalization, which we just talked about, to something called deconstruction, where you really question where the problem came from in the first place. It's all designed to help you become an investigator of your own story, to find its weak spots and start building a new, preferred one. The process often follows a path kind of like this. First, as we saw, you externalize the problem, give it a name, make it separate from you. Second, you deconstruct it. This means asking, where did this story come from? For instance, if the story is, I always fail, deconstruction might explore cultural ideas about success or family messages about risk-taking. You question its taken-for-granted truths. And third, you actively go on a hunt for any evidence that contradicts the problem's story. And that hunt leads you to find these sparkling moments. I love that term. Think of these as hidden gems in your past. They're any moment, no matter how small, when the problem didn't win. A time you stood up to anxiety, a day that sadness didn't call all the shots. These little exceptions are the building blocks of your new, stronger narrative. And the toolkit is even bigger than that. Therapists might help you map the influence of the problem to see its effects clearly. They might also use outsider witnesses, That's where you have others listen to and validate your new story, which makes it feel so much more real and solid. It's a very collaborative social process.
So, where does all this work lead? Well, the goal isn't to just erase the problem chapters from your life story. It's to write a story that's so much richer and thicker that the problem no longer gets to define the entire book.
This is the journey from a thin story to a rich or thick one. A thin story is one-dimensional. It's all about failure or struggle. But a rich story? That has texture. It includes your values, your hopes, your skills, your comebacks, all those sparkling moments of triumph. The problem might still be a chapter, for sure, but it is no longer the entire book. And really, that's what this is all about. Picking that pen back up. Recognizing that you are the expert and that your story is so far from over. So it leaves us all with a powerful question to consider. If your life is a story, are you ready to be the author?